A Rio Rancho man is waking up this morning a little on edge. He's not only learned that the suspect accused of tagging his garage with hateful words is his next door neighbor, but now a judge has allowed that suspect to go back home. 23-year-old Jose Campos was arrested after cops say he spray painted some racial slurs across a neighbor's garage last month. That neighbor is Brian Carter. But he's not the only victim. The suspect is also accused of vandalizing the entire neighborhood.
It's not something you want to have to, concern yourself with every day. Like, okay, am I going to have to come home and worry about there being damage to my property or, some kind of harassment?
The neighbor tells us he got a temporary restraining order against Campos, the suspect here. He's not taking any chances. An Albuquerque man is expected to face the judge today after police say he threatened a young boy with a machete. Investigators say 21-year-old Daniel Guruji told the boy, who, by the way, is his neighbor, to take his dog inside or else he would hurt him. He's now charged with child abuse and aggravated assault. An accident that left tons of green chili on a major highway in New Mexico also sends one man to the hospital. According to the Las Cruces Sun News, witnesses say a semi rear-ended another semi carrying chilies and watermelons on Interstate 10 near Las Cruces. Now, we're told the New Mexico transportation officer collapsed on the scene and was given CPR. No word on his condition or if anyone else was hurt. A national convention about sex offenders that is set to be held in Albuquerque is causing quite the controversy. The goal of the meeting is to look at lighter punishments for sex crimes. 43-year-old Lloyd Swartz is one of those attending the conference. He tells us that when he was 17, he was convicted of sexual assault in Texas. He later moved here to New Mexico, where by law, he's required to stay registered for another 13 years. Swartz believed that's not fair.
It is immoral to create laws that punish people in perpetuity even though they've served out their sentence.
He and others want to reform the law. Governor Susana Martinez says that's outrageous. She is fighting for laws to become even stricter. The governor said it would happen again. Speaking of the governor, this morning, state employees are waking up with their names and salaries on the web for all to see. Governor Susana Martinez was recently ordered by a judge to remove employee names and their salaries from the New Mexico Sunshine Portal, saying it violated state law. The governor's argument has been that it's information that is considered public information. So instead of the Sunshine Portal, the state has now displayed the info on the homepage of the state's website. An attorney for the union that opposes the governor posting the information at all says he may challenge the move to see if being on the state's homepage might violate any laws. There are new contracts for Albuquerque public school teachers this morning, but it didn't happen without some heated debate first. One APS board member says she opposes the process that teachers will be subjected to who may be fired. There is also a long process involved when it comes to firing someone. There's a lot of monitoring and evaluation that must happen before that teacher is fired. Some board members feel this holds back principals from immediately firing bad teachers. Last night, however, the board voted 3-4 to pass the new contracts. They don't, by the way, include any pay raises or any layoffs. Well, there are several things that signify fall is just around the corner in New Mexico, but none is more welcoming than the sight and smell, of course, of roasting chili. But what may not be so welcoming is how much you may have to pay this year to get some of that delicious chili. Our News 13's David Romero is live in our KRQE kitchen with more on this story. Say it isn't so, David.
Well, Elizabeth, even the smell of the uncooked chili is always good, but everybody can hardly wait to slap it on their hamburger or any other food for that matter, especially here in this state. But before you get to the dinner table, it may mean shelling out a little more green for the green. It's that time of year again. The green chili harvest is coming in and whetting appetites.
Well, I'm a chili lover, I love chili. I eat chili with every meal, every meal.
But this year's pickings could be slim. Chili farmers in other parts of the state, such as in the Velarde Valley up north, say this year's turnout is good. That's thanks in part to plenty of water in the Rio Grande. But There are some areas down south that are responsible for the majority of the state's sales, such as the Hatch and Mesilla Valley regions, where it's a different story.
There are a lot less farmers growing chili this year because of the water conditions. There's not a whole lot of water for irrigating. So if you don't have a well or you don't have a drip system set up, you're not going to be able to have enough water to grow chili. In addition to drought conditions, poor chili numbers are also attributed to competition, labor costs, and a bad hailstorm. Although we're still just at the beginning of the harvest, numbers from the U.S. Department of Agriculture show that only 11% is in. Our prices are staying the same. From what I can tell with other people in town, that their prices are going up, okay? And that is because there's less farmers, there's less chili, and it's just, it's the conditions of what's going on with the drought and all. It still won't be enough to keep people away from what they wait for all year long. Just make sure it's truly from New Mexico. We got to make sure that wherever we buy our chili, whether it's from me, whether it's from anybody in town, just make sure they have that certificate that shows it's New Mexico chili. And official tallies as to how well this year's crop has done won't be out until next spring. Elizabeth, back to you.
All right, David, thank you for that. Experts, by the way, and other chili farmers believe that another contributing factor to low chili numbers could be that there are fewer farmers growing chilies this year.